for entertainment purposes only. Copyrighted by Mackenzie. Welcome to Who Yelling Now, the podcast where truth doesn't whisper, it hollers, cracks the silence, and demands to be heard. I'm Olga Foreign, and today's episode isn't just a reading, it's reckoning. We begin with a poem titled The Mirror We Feared, because sometimes a leader doesn't lead, they reveal. And sometimes what's revealed is everything we tried to bury. Today, we looked into the mirror America tried to avoid, and we see racism, greed, hate, nepotism, and division staring back. This isn't just a poem, it's a reflection, a challenge, a choice. Let's begin. The mirror we feared. He didn't bring the fire, just struck the match and watched us burn. In the light we denied. Gold towers and red ties. He came not cloaked but naked. In the sins we wore like perfume. Not the disease, but the flare up. The rash on liberty's skin that we itch but never healed. He called out, not for truth, but for attention, and got both. Our truth was ugly, still is. Crowds roared for walls, for cages, for cruelty. They chanted again, as if great had never meant chains, whips, reservations, internment. We watched justice kneel and a knee stay pressed, watched lies grow louder than facts, and privilege louder still. We learned a country built on stolen land and stolen labor could be led by a man who stole everything but silence. He forced the mask off, not his, ours, made us look, made us squirm, made us admit that racism was not a ghost, but a god. Some still worshipped. He didn't create the crack, just screamed loud enough to echo in the hollow. Now, what do we do with the echo? With the mirror he held up and we smashed instead of changing. Maybe this was the gift we never wanted, to see the rot, to name it, to stop pretending we're better than the man we elected. Maybe now we mourn, then rise, then build something true. You've just heard The Mirror We Feared, and maybe we needed that mirror, not to punish ourselves, but to finally see what needs changing. Ask yourself, What did you see in the mirror during this presidency? How uncomfortable are you with America's reflection? If truth is the first step, then action must follow. Not slogans, not speeches, but transformation, real, raw, and ours to make. We talk a lot about change. But what does real change demand? Not ask for, but demand. If demands truth in our textbooks, equity in our economy, justice in our systems, and forgiveness that doesn't skip the work. Let's talk about building, not rebuilding, a nation that finally belongs to everyone. This next poem is to move the nation. Let's begin. We saw it. Finally, the beast behind the anthem, the venom in the apple pie, the broken compass that spun and is spinning not north, but towards profit, power, and preservation of the few. So, now what? Now comes the reckoning, not with him, but with us, with our schools that teach silence, our books that skip the blood, our flags that wave over unmarked graves. We must tell the whole story, not just the polished myth, but the sweat and screams, the auction blocks, the treaties broken, the backs broken, the truth buried. We must redistribute truth. Give every child a curriculum that cuts, that heals, that teaches not shame, but accountability. We must break the altar of greed. An economy that worships the hoarder will always starve the many. We must unhook dignity from dollar signs. Raise wages like we raise our children, with care, not excuses. We must demilitarize fear. No more tanks for school zones. No more training officers to see shadows where skin glows brown. We must redefine patriotism, not as blind loyalty to a bruised flag, but as the courage to stitch a better one. We must listen louder to the ones who have screamed for centuries, not just the ones with microphones. And still, we must forgive. Not to forget, not to move on too soon, but to stop dragging the same old chains into each new year. Forgiveness without justice is theater. Justice without mercy is war. But together they bridge over waters we nearly drowned in. And maybe one day when we are old and they ask how we survived, we'll say, we saw the truth and didn't blink. We planted something in the ashes and it bloomed. Something freer, something kinder, something finally ours. What does real patriotism look like to you? This is Who Yelling Now? And you have just heard The Mirror We Feared and To Move the Nation. Please like, subscribe, and yell out to others to listen to Who Yelling Now, the podcast that doesn't whisper change. We yell it.